Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 4 of my Create Mod Skyblock series. If you're enjoying this series, please drop a like and make sure to subscribe so that you're notified when I upload a future episode. Also, if you missed episode 3, it should have just popped up on the screen right now, so go ahead and check that out so nothing gets spoiled inside of this episode. But if you have come for episode 4, let's jump into the video. So I figured the best thing to do for this episode is to work on an iron generator. Now, I'm like 90% sure that from our cobblestone-like generator over here, there isn't a way to get iron, and that can create some issues because we've used iron for practically everything, especially Create Mod gets really iron intensive. Now, one thing that we can do to generate iron is using just basic strainers. It gives us iron nuggets. Yeah, there we go. Now, the problem with that is that after a certain point they break, and we only got a couple of these guys that have been running. So I figured if we built a little area and we just made a ton of strainer bases and tons of strainers, we could be generating tons of iron nuggets and have plenty of iron to kind of move on. Of course, later in the game we could make like an iron golem type generator or something, or especially if we got an iron golem like spawn egg, we could literally just use our spawner over there and turn it into an iron golem spawner, and then boom, infinite iron. But for now, I think this would be our best idea, especially getting into a lot of the create machines. Again, it takes a lot of iron, so I figured that's probably our best bet to move towards making that. Look at that. We actually spawned a bee's nest. I didn't even mean to do that. Let's try not to anchor him though, but we could actually use this as a way to get honey. I was just doing this just for logs for our massive contraption we're doing, but look at that. We got some friends. Oh my god. Look at how many that we've made. There's gonna be so much iron. We're gonna have just so much. This is such an upgrade from just 4. As I look through, and we're not getting any iron on like our first tries, but there's one. There we go. Over time, this is gonna generate so much iron, especially if we started making like rows of these guys. Just so much, absolutely so much. So it is a new day. I'm finally back into our world, and I wanted to point something out. I have a list on my other monitor of just a ton of tips that you guys have left me in the comments, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot more. But I wanted to point something out. I've gotten a couple tips on the strainer bases and the strainers and things like that, of how these could be a little bit more efficient. And I 100% agree that if they're side by side and you have water source blocks in each one of these guys, they're actually slower. And kind of like the best way to do it is if you just have like a source block to the side of it, you have the water pouring into it, then it's the most efficient. It would actually make this go a little bit quicker. That being said, I don't think I'm going to change that just now, because if I make these too fast, I'm literally going to have to replace these filters constantly, like all of the time. So I'm just going to leave it a little bit slow for now, and if I get bored, we'll go ahead and switch it up, or if I need more iron. But I figured that a good starting point would actually be to work on an ore processing system, because I did get a tip on, or a couple people said this, that I can make brass without making a blaze burner. And it's with zinc and copper inside of an alloy smelter. Now that's perfect because we do have zinc and copper, plenty of copper, and then we just need our zinc, which we have that as well. So if we combine this together, we can actually make some brass and start going down the route of, if I could get to the page, of making crushed brass items. We can actually technically make the Stressovision or the engineer's goggles. We could make a wrench. We can get a lot more inventive. So let's go that route. We'll start trying to get an ore processing system set up. Look at that. And we got brass. No achievement, but that's okay. Because I think it's not registering this one, or this type of brass, because this isn't create brass. This is silence mechanisms brass. But I believe we could actually make a wrench, which is made with golden sheets. Huh. Okay. I don't think they changed. I think they changed the recipe, unless I've just completely forgotten how to play Create Mod. But I remember these as brass sheets, but that's okay. We can get golden sheets. We do have the ability to press, which I'll just have to grab some blocks for. But yeah, let's make a wrench. I guess we'll make gold instead, but we have brass for future. Boom! Look at that. We got some items back, I think, or no, it only pressed one. I forgot that's part of the new update. Let's sleep really quick. But we got one golden sheet. I'm gonna keep this guy pressing in the background while we open our loot bag, which has given us a whisk and googly eyes. Are you kidding me? Wait, how do I put this? Look at this. Oh my god. We have googly eyes. Wait, I gotta get the, yeah, better angle. Look at that. Oh my god, I love this mod pack. We got an achievement from that. Craft any variety of trinket and wear it. Where did that achievement come from? Oh, it came from Botnia, all the way over here, of where we can craft trinkets. Which we have a plan to possibly go down Botnia or Botania or however you actually pronounce this. In this episode, but because I'm focusing on an ore processing system first, because that's kind of all hands on deck, we'll see if we get to it at the very end of the episode. We'll have to see. But now, it looks like we can crush iron sheets and stuff, but we have the ability to make engineer's goggles, but that's actually not what we're planning to make. We're planning to make our wrench, because that's going to be way more useful at the beginning, because we can actually rotate things and stuff. It'll just be ease of use, a lot easier. So let's make that. There we go. Boom, wrench. No achievement again, but that's fine. This will also allow us to do things like this, where I can break this block and pick up our minecart contraptions. Now we have our spawner, which is perfect, and I can even pick up him and him. Look at that. We're already doing a lot better. Oh, and by the way, I've decided that I'm going to name our pig Pancake. I don't know. There was a lot of good suggestions in there, and there's a lot of names that I wanted to choose, but we're gonna name him Pancake. That's what I've settled for. So we actually did get this achievement. I guess I just didn't realize. So this is the brass phase, which it's asking us to start this line. You must finish the andesite age. Whoops, we kind of skipped that. But this is where we're diving into like a lot more crazier things, where mechanical crafting, the pair of giant crushing wheels, and all of that madness. This is where we'd be doing ore processing. But this is just going to be, I guess, our other machines. So the basic machines, so the basin, automating, pressing things. So let's just complete all of these achievements as fast as possible. Boom, iron sheet. And now that has unlocked or no more achievements, actually. It just showed that we can press an iron sheet. And we got a loot bag, which has given us, brown terracotta, and I don't know what else it gave us. Maybe a bone? Oh, no, it gave us paved granite. Not entirely useful, so we'll throw that back in there. But an iron sheet, I don't remember what entirely this is used for. Iron sheet, which is used for, chutes, minecart couplings, rope pulleys, fluid valves, super glue. That's a change of the recipe. Those used to just be nuggets. Mechanical saw, plow, the whisk, we already got one. Blaze burners, propellers, mechanical harvesters. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of uses for that. But in summary, I'm not going to dive too deep into that because we're so low on resources, but that's okay. So let's work on now making a basin, and then we can compact something just to get that achievement. So the basin is 5 andesite. So we can do that. Boom, basin. And I'm gonna put this under here. I know with certain things it's probably not gonna let us do it. But if we put this under a press, then we can get that next achievement. So we just need 9 of any ingot so that we can actually compress it. This actually works. It's gonna sound dumb, but if I take a block of copper, change it to 9 copper ingots, we could throw it into this basin, and it's gonna come down and actually press this right into the copper block. So just to get that achievement, which, boom, we've unlocked. Now we've gone to the next step of making a mixer. I was kind of getting ready for that. and then craft an empty blaze burner so we can catch a blaze with heat. But let's also make the engineer's goggles really quick, because that'll start to help us. So there's 2 different ones, but these guys are a golden sheet, glass, and string. We can roll with that. We just need gold. Boom, boom, boom. Engineer's goggles. Look at that. And I'm just curious. I don't know if they have these in here. No, it doesn't look like we have it in here. I was gonna see if we had oh, it's like Create Plus or whatever's modded. It allows you to have goggles with helmets, but that's okay. But if we look now at any type of machine, we can see the stress units it's outputting. Technically, if we looked in a basin, it would tell you what's inside the basin, things like that. So those would be kind of useful. And we've gone into now making stressometers and speedometers and things like that. I won't necessarily need these. They'll come in handy possibly in the future, but we might as well make them just to get the achievements. But we'll make those after we make our mixer, which is going to be, there we go, andesite alloys, andesite casings, cogwheels, things like that, and our whisk, which we already got luckily. So let's focus on that now. Boom, mechanical mixer. Now this is going to be a little unique because we actually will have to do a gear trick to speed this guy up in order to actually use a mixer, because we'll possibly need this in order to then make a speed controller, which will allow us to adjust the speed off of a water wheel. So I'm going to have to fool around with a couple of these things to see how we want to get this thing set up. Well, shoot. Can you tell I haven't messed with the beginnings of Create Mod in a while? Already overstressed the machine, which is given us this. We've already skipped over these guys, but all that means is that we just need to add a second water wheel, and I believe this will actually go at the correct speed, but I might do a little of adjusting, because of course, if I put the basin down, the basin will be all the way down there, but looks horrible. Once we get a speed controller, though, we can actually kind of reverse this whole entire disgusting mess that I've created. Perfect. Look at that. And we got no speed requirements, 512 stress units, and I'm just gonna fix this really quick. All right, we did it. We got a mixer up and running. Of course, theoretically, we would break this, and the blaze burner would go here, and then we were technically able to craft certain things. Now, I know that I was able to make brass. You might be wondering, why am I even doing this? And part of that reason is now we can actually throw some things in here and make andesite more efficiently, things along those lines. I was going to show you, but I actually don't have any on me. And there's some other things that you can do with a mixer, even though you don't have a blaze burner up and running. And I know in the future I will want one. So at least we have the gist of it set up. And of course, it's going to take some time to get mechanical crafting and stuff like that set up. So at least we can use it between now and then. So I just looked at this because I was curious why we didn't get the achievement. But it says we have to actually mix something in there. So you know what? I'll show you the whole entire iron nugget kind of like little trick of that plus andesite. We'll make it so we can make a good amount all at once. Here we go. So you can see that with andesite, you take this, you take iron nuggets, you just craft andesite alloy like this. So if we did this, technically we would get 5, because that's the lowest amount of iron nuggets we have. So why don't we showcase how many we get like this? If I just take 5 and 5, sorry, that was dumb of me. We're gonna have 10 iron nuggets, and then 10 andesite. And if I throw that in the mixer, it should give us at least 10 andesite alloy. But you can see one thing, we're not crafting it. It's taking a second to mix, and you will see there'll be some benefits. There we go. Picked it up, and I think we got 13. Could be wrong. I'll fix my numbering in the editing there. But we got andesite alloy from that. So we got a little bit of a bonus, and also it's a quicker way of crafting. But of course, we got our achievement, mixing it up. And the next is to craft the empty blaze burner. So let's work on that. So I know I said I was going to work on the blaze burner, but I was thinking for a second, since we're so low on iron, and like we can generate it, but it takes time. I decided that our best bet for all of this would actually be to make a little area and we can start prepping for an ore processing system. And I'm going to prep for actually having an automated ore processing system because I'm just going to copy the ore processing system that I've done in one of my videos because this is in the newest version. So I'm just going to make a little area possibly in this little location and just build the area of where we can have an ore processing system and start putting some stuff in the chest for when we're ready to build. So something I realized that we actually have never made up and running is this single piece of kelp that we have. Now, people that are not Create Mod enthusiasts will notice that, like, what's the point of kelp? Now, kelp is used for, like, half of the machines inside of Create Mod. Any kind of automating of anything uses kelp, and we never made a kelp farm. So I figured that maybe over in our farm section, I'm just gonna have an area that just literally is just kelp growing. So I'm gonna work on making that actually now too, so we have a kelp farm. Look at that, our tiny little kelp. Now I just have to really hope that I don't accidentally break the very first kelp, or I really have no idea how we're getting it back. But I built a very janky looking aquarium style thing that we did, that I made, just as a temporary thing, just so we can have some kelp growing. Because of course, if we dried kelp for like belts or for andesite funnels or things like that, now we have a farm growing, kind of like how we have a sugarcane farm that's almost maxed out already. And I guess there's no limit. That's interesting. Didn't even know that was possible. But yeah, we got that up and running now. So yeah, kelp farm. All right, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. So over here, we of course have our area that we're making for our ore processing system, and I'm actually putting all the items in here that we can make. And the last things that we really need to make is, or I guess our mechanical press we can throw in there, is that we need 3 brass funnels. We will need 2 belts, 2 andesite funnels, and 2 crushing wheels. And then technically we will need some chests, and that's basically it. Just some extra water as well. If you don't, again, know what I'm talking about, this is an ore processing system that I created on April 13th, to be exact. So I'm just following that design because it's definitely the most efficient in my mind that you could possibly do, and that's super helpful in Skyblock. And then we can leave this area over here so that we can have a mixer up and running. But our main goal of what we've been working on over here is a kelp farm, because we need dried kelp for both the brass and andesite funnels, as well as we need it for, of course, the belts. So I've just been expanding this farm and then harvesting it. Oops, didn't mean to break all of it. Harvesting it with a sword and just replanting so that we can get a fully grown kelp farm going up. And something that I thought of, because you can use bone meal on this guy, is that since we have such large farms, we can actually just create a composter, take our seeds, and actually make bone meal. And I know a bunch of you guys are probably going, hey, Rocket, why don't you just put a hopper there? That's going to be my next step. I just don't know if... I guess we could make wood hoppers, so maybe we will do that. But this is going to be an easy way to get some bone meal, and we can continue our kelp farm. Look at that. Electron tubes. I have a feeling we just skipped a bunch of advancements to get to this, because this is definitely something late game that we were just able to make. Let me let me check it out really quick. Maybe not. Oh yeah, we did. So we've already entered the brass phase without making brass casings. Or did we make brass casings? We might have. But this is the whole finish the andesite casing phase before you get to this. But that's okay, because we were able to make electron tubes. I probably should have fast forwarded through that so you guys saw what to do. I'm curious if you have not been watching Create Mod tutorials from me, or not been watching really much Create stuff, and you've just checked out the series, please let me know in the comments, because then I'll leave some of this stuff in and show you guys on how I'm doing things. But I have a feeling a lot of you guys are watching this after have watched Create Mod tutorials and like already know how to make electron tubes and things like that. But this is essentially how do I explain it? This is essentially polished rose quartz, redstone torches, iron nuggets. The polished rose quartz are rose quartz being sandpapered, so I made sandpaper to do that. And rose quartz is redstone and nether quartz, and that's how you can make it. I guess you can mix it as well, but same difference. Mix electron tubes, and now that means that if I type in our brass funnel and I press this, we can make it. We only need 3, but there we go. We got brass funnels, so we're already in the brass age in a sense. And that should round us off basically to what we need, minus a couple chests. So I'm just going to grab some chests and we can actually start building the beginnings of an ore processing system. Look at that. We did it. So, kind of did it. So I'm gonna run through on how this system's working. So theoretically, we'd throw our ores in here, and this system is built so it can handle even like diamond ore or redstone ore, things like that, where if we had a silk touch pickaxe, it's not gonna turn to nuggets, it's just gonna turn into the item. So theoretically, we throw our ores in here. This is where we're going to place our crushing wheels, and we have enough power in here that once we make crushing wheels, we can place them here, and it'll work right away. Then it's going to go down this belt, and with some ores that you create, it has the ability to actually make cobblestone. And so we're just going to make its own chest right here that's just going to auto-collect cobblestone into here. So it's going to pull that off the belt so that doesn't screw up our system. Now, this filter that I've set up right here is for all of those ores that I just talked about. Things like diamonds, redstone, quartz, things that are not going to turn into nuggets, that this will now pick them up. This is making it so as long as it's not a crushed version of an ore, it's going to pick it up, put it into this chest. Everything else, at this point, it has now turned into its crushed version. So you can see right here, like crushed iron, crushed gold, things like that. And it's going to fall onto this depot. And we actually have this encased fan slowly blowing some water onto this depot. You might not really see it, but you can see there's little tiny bubbles popping up, and that's good enough. So that will actually wash our crushed ores, and it'll turn them right into nuggets. And then nuggets are going to be placed into this basin, because this thing is denying everything except nuggets. And once we have our nuggets go into the basin, press will come down, press them into ingots, it'll get put onto this belt, and then placed into this chest. Look at that. All set up. It looks kind of chaotic, not exactly the cleanest setup, but we are in Skyblock, so I'm not going for the most prettiest look for an ore processing system, but it'll work. We just need crushing wheels now for the system to completely work, but we could technically mess around with like a millstone or something like that to make it so that we could use it for now, but I think we're going to hold off until we can get these crushing wheels up and running before we make a full-blown ore processing system. But yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. So let's go ahead and see if we can work on getting into like the mechanical crafting side of things or something along those lines. All right, so I've done the math out, and it's going to get kind of crazy. So in order to make crushing wheels, we need 21 mechanical crafters. Now, again, if you've not used Create Mod much, this gets kind of advanced. Just bear with me. Basically, think it's an automated crafting system, but every single block is one spot in a crafting table, and you need 21 of these guys in order to make a pair of crushing wheels. Now, mechanical crafters comes in sets of 3 as you make one. So I had to do the math out, and we'll hope that I've done them correctly. All right, so I've done the math out of how much stuff we need, but I want to run through. I love these googly eyes. I've run through on what we need to make in order to get to the pair of giants or the crushing wheels. Now, if you've not really used Create much, don't panic. Think about this as an automated like crafting system, and basically each one of these spots is a separate block that's called a mechanical crafter, and you need 21 of these blocks in order to craft these crushing wheels. So it's a huge contraption. Now, mechanical crafters comes in sets of 3. They're not crazy expensive. They need a lot of brass, and they need redstone and quartz, so that's where it gets a little expensive. But in order to make all 21, we need to make this 7 times. So I've done the math out. That's 7 electron tubes, 14 cogwheels, 7 brass casings, and 7 crafting tables. So time to really use a lot of resources so that we can get this all up and running. All right, we have done it. So much crafting, so much resources. You might have noticed that I've basically depleted the entirety of the other island of redstone, and you might be a little worried, but there was a comment that I got that was a little bit of a hint saying that, hey, if you crush lime sand, you can actually get some things. If I can make it pop up. So if you, if you get lime sand and then you wash it, you have a chance of getting lapis, redstone, emeralds, diamonds, prismarine crystals, and prismarine shards, which is super awesome because then we get a chance to actually get our redstone back and things like that, which we could kind of use this for our non-ore items and then use our ore processing system for the ores. And of course, maybe in the next episode, we'll explore all the other islands to get the resources from it and things along those lines. But now we can craft all of the mechanical crafters. So let's open that up, click this, and boom, 21 mechanical crafters, which I don't know if we got an achievement. I'm guessing it probably will be once we get this all set up. But I think I'm gonna make it kind of over in this area, hook it up to its own power system because it uses just absolutely so much power. But of course, we can now make speed controllers, which will make it so we can get rid of that madness and a couple other things. So yeah, let me start building it in this area. All right. Fingers crossed I've done this correctly. I haven't done this in a bit, but you can see right now we built our mechanical crafters. We went ahead and aligned it so all of these arrows are going to output all the way to here to theoretically make crushing wheels for us. And then on top of that, I can't get up. I've put down one water wheel and I've set it up for a second one, and looks like it needs a third one. That's great. If we had a speed controller, we could actually slow this down. Technically, we could use a cogwheel trick to slow it down, but that'd be that's a lot of work, especially because we'll eventually just be able to make a speed controller, and we could just manually slow this down. But that's fine. I'm just gonna keep making water wheels until this thing works. All right, round 2 or 3 or however many rounds we have now tried this. Third water wheel, place it down. And we got it working, it looks like. I'll check to make sure. But yeah, it looks like it's all moving and all being able to be created. That was not English entirely. I've also made a button if you press the button, it actually sends a redstone signal into here. And what that does is, let's say that we're making something that doesn't need this many mechanical crafters. I could just press a button and it'll try to craft it. So we have a couple options of things that we could make first. We could make the speed controller, fix this madness. We could also make our crushing wheels, so we can get this all up and running, which is I think what we're going to focus on, because let me just make sure before I agree to that. Oh, we actually have it right here. It's just stone, planks, and a ton of andesite. So let's start working on that. All right, here we go. So we place stone in the center. I believe I'm just going to double check. Yes, planks around the side just like this. And then we got our andesite alloy around the entirety of the outside. And boom, it should start crafting. Oh my god. This feels so good to be able to craft this stuff in a survival world. And again, I've been doing so many creative mode tutorials that feels good to be back in survival mode. But we finally will have our crushing wheels. And it's all getting put together. Look at this, so perfect. And if we have done it correctly, it should pop out right here. Let's see. Yep, crushing wheels. And boom. Oh, it just like went into my inventory. That works too. Look at that, crushing wheels. And we got a pair of giants, which let's open up our achievements. We'll just see if there's anything else. I think some things unlocked. Yeah. So we got the mechanical crafting achievement. We had the pair of giants, and we got stationary breakers, so it's the mechanical drills, and we got stationary chopping, mechanical saw, which we could also use to make logs into strip logs and then planks and do that whole thing to make it so it's more efficient. But this will probably all be a whole other episode. Even furnace engine and flywheels will probably be several episodes from now. But if we take our crushing wheels, place them just like this, we now have a successful ore processing system. Not bad at all. So let's test it out. We're going to test it on a single piece of iron to show you how efficient it is. If I throw one iron ore in here, it's going to go into our crushing wheels. It is going to be crushed, turned to crushed iron ore. Didn't make any cobblestone. Didn't make any things that are not crushed items. Now it goes to the depot. It's going to start washing. Theoretically, it should start turning to nuggets in a second or two. It's going to be a little slow. There we go, nuggets. And some nuggets actually already went in here and made 1 ingot. The rest of the nuggets have now been placed into here. We can see it's now made 2 ingots. Might even make some extras. Maybe we'll even make a third. But it looks like we got some extra nuggets, and we got some iron ingots. So this should be the most efficient ore processing system, unless there's another mod that's going to change this. This is even actually better than Fortune. So if we do get Silk Touched iron or Silk Touch Diamond, it's actually better than like a Fortune 3 pickaxe. But again, that depends on how high enchantment's going to get, because if we can get like a Fortune 10 pickaxe, of course that's going to be better. But let's just grab all of our ores. We could throw it all in here and it'll start processing everything for us, which is perfect. This is just so perfect. Like everything, this makes me feel so good because we're no longer like freaking out when we find ores and being really sparing with them, because we can make them so they almost like triple themselves. You can see we already got iron, we got platinum, we got lead, just so many things, which is just perfect. And of course, I'm throwing all of the stuff in this ore processing system. So by the end of it, we're just gonna have tons of ores, which is just so exciting. Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. But just like usual, let me leave you with a sneak peek of the next episode. Oh my god, we're so close. And there's a chest. Wait, I wonder what's going to be inside of these chests. That's what I was hoping for too.